Oh my gosh, Zoe, this is the fourth time I've had to walk slow behind an NPC I've never met before while they collect daffodils for a person I do not care about in this game. One more daffodil run and I'm daffodil done. I mean, why on earth would anyone design a quest like this? Oh, what's that, Spirit James? There's a better way? Thanks so much to HelloFresh for helping us complete the quest of What's for Dinner. James was talking to another narrative designer over in Designland about designing quests in games, and they started to kibitz about all that's wrong in modern quest design. Granted, a lot of it was mechanical stuff that there have been thousands of video essays about, like how follow quests are terrible, how forcing people to collect things that have low odds to drop is just sadistic, and how resolving everything with violence can get dull even for the most macho one-note superhero. But then that led them to talking about narrative, and they realized that the narrative side of quest design is something we talk about far less often. So let's set some quest trackers and dive right in. There were three major areas that they identified that we can do a lot better in: creating meaningful relationships with characters and quests, giving characters arcs, and creating narrative arcs. And to explore those areas, let's take a look at a prototypical quest you find in so many games. An innkeeper at the local inn, who, as soon as you meet him, asks you to kill the rats in his cellar and bring him back 10 rat butts as proof. First off, in this situation, we don't care about the innkeeper. He asked us to do a thing within the first few seconds of meeting him, and we know nothing else about them. So, other than forward progression of the game, why would we want to help them? Maybe they're a jerk. Maybe the rats started to infest his cellar because his shop is utterly unsanitary and selling grade D below human consumption meat. Maybe he built his inn on the rats' ancestral home, and they've been locked in a losing battle for generations, trying to fight and take back what's rightfully theirs. Or maybe this is actually a public works problem that could be better handled by policy changes in town rather than by a space barbarian with a vibro chainsaw. Second, there's no arc to this quest giver. They don't learn from their dirty ways and start to follow civic cleanliness codes because your heroic actions saved them from bankruptcy caused by their own folly. They don't grow and start to understand that rats are creatures too, and instead of using adventurers to exterminate them, find some way they might coexist. And they certainly don't come to the realization that adventurers are more than just rat murdering machines, that they have feelings, wants, and needs, and spend an evening talking to you about your hopes and dreams. Nope, in this classic quest setup, they just lust for rat butts. And third, there's no arc to this story. In the presented quest, you don't help a young and eager innkeeper without a penny to their name start an inn and help them grow it into a successful business so they can win the hand of the person of their dreams, only to have that person die too soon, causing them to fall into a malaise that is mirrored in the decline of their establishment until at last they're sitting alone in a broken down festering inn of their own creation, only to have their old friend the adventurer show up and see them in such dire straits that they must help them return to the world by putting the inn back together, starting by clearing out those rats. Typically, there's nothing like that. No hook, no rising action, no daring denouement to the story of Innkeeper Want Rat Butts. There's just a pointless action for you to check off to proceed. Now, I wish I could say that the reason we haven't solved this in most games is because it's hard. Because there's some complicated design or programming it would require that just can't be part of most games. Heck, I wish I could say it even took some really trick writing, But the truth is, it doesn't. And there's a pretty straightforward answer here. More quest chains, less one-off quests. It takes the same amount of resources, arguably less actually, to create 3 linked quests as it does to create 3 one-off quests that lack meaning. But by making quest chains, you can grow the player's attachment to a character involved with the quest, give that character an arc, and provide them with a mini-narrative that follows all the rules that we try to apply everywhere else in narrative design. And how do we know this works? Because it's basically all of the quests in Witcher 3. They're all multi-part vignettes. It doesn't matter if you're getting a pan back for an old woman, or clearing out a haunted house, or making some move in world politics. They all come in stages. It's always something like, you have to go to a location, then discover what happened there, then track a monster, and then do a fight. Not just collect 10 rat butts. And each of those stages helps to create an arc for both the characters in them and the story behind what you're doing, while also letting you spend enough time with the characters to make them feel more real and for you to begin to care about them and what they want. And I think this is why Witcher quests feel so much better than quests in many other games. I would even wager that many of you out there remember more about your Witcher quests and about Witcher NPCs than you do in many other quest-based games. Of course, this isn't to say that the solution to this quest problem is just simply making more multi-part quests. We actually have to start to write quests as if we expect the players to care about them. And yeah, that sounded silly coming out of my mouth just now, but many designers often assume that the player will just click through the quest information, ignoring their content. In fact, this belief is so prevalent that many studios actually budget little time for quest writing at all. Because why would you dedicate a large number of person hours to something that players are just going to skip over anyway, right? Which then, of course, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If us as designers want our quests to be more than just a checklist to fill the player's time, then we have to start treating them as such. We also have to start thinking of our side quests as short stories within a greater plot. They should give the player a tiny window into the world they're playing in. The aforementioned typical rat butt quest is rarely presented as a part of the great tapestry that's in the game's world building. It tells the player nothing about how the people in the world live, about the place the tavern is located, about the economics, except maybe the brisk trade in rat butts, or the politics of the world. This is a missed opportunity, and it makes the quest feel more like a chore to be done rather than an endemic part of an interesting world. So, when you're doing your quest design, you should always ask yourself, what does this quest say about our world? And always make sure you have an answer. Because if you do, it'll make your quests feel more relevant, and chances are, they'll stick in your players' minds more. Now, for side quests, this can't be some piece of vital information, especially if they can be missed, but it still should be something that gives a little color, a little more richness to your world. If we can do this, make multi-part quests give us the space we need to be able to apply storytelling techniques rather than simply write justifications for players to complete tasks off a list. Give quest design the time it needs, and make sure our quests reveal more awesome tidbits about the world our games take place in. We can create better quests and craft more memorable experiences players will be talking about for years to come. No ifs, ands, or rat butts about it. Ooh, and if between quests you'd like to craft home-cooked meals that your friends and family will be talking about for years to come, then look no further than HelloFresh. I know, it might sound a bit over the top, but it's also kinda true. HelloFresh is a tasty meal kit delivery service that's been saving me a ton of time this fall, while also helping me avoid stressful meal planning and expensive trips to the grocery store when I'm hangry. Because you wouldn't like me when I'm hangry. Sorry, don't know what came over me. I get everything I need to prepare awesome home-cooked meals delivered right to my door, and I'm eating in a half hour or less. Plus, with over 30 recipes and tons of tasty add-on options available each week, finding your favorite is a breeze. Want to go vegetarian, pescatarian, or fit in wholesome meals? They got you covered on all that. Whereas I went the more meaty route yet again and just cooked up their crispy Parmesan chicken, which, no joke, I think was my absolute favorite HelloFresh meal I've had thus far. Oh man, it was so good. But because some of us have more, let's say, picky eaters in their families, Jeff whipped up their time-honored crowd-pleaser turkey ragu spaghetti, which got 0 complaints from his son or his expected unexpected guests. Oh, and another thing that HelloFresh gets right is their continued work on the sustainability and freshness fronts. Their produce goes from the farm to your front door in under a week. The ingredients are pre-portioned, meaning less food waste when compared to grocery shopping. And HelloFresh is the first carbon-neutral meal kit company, which we really love to see. And since summer's over and everybody's schedules are getting hectic again, now is the perfect time to save some time and try HelloFresh yourself with this delectable deal. All you gotta do is go to HelloFresh.com and use the code ExtraCredit16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts plus free shipping. That's right, busy people. You can get free food while supporting the content you love, the environment, and your grumbly tummy. Again, that's 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts at HelloFresh.com using the code ExtraCredit16. Your time and taste buds will thank you, and once again, so will we. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks so much to Skylar Holmes, Joseph Blame, Dominic Valenciana, Casey Mustia, Arcalite Games, Angelo Valenciana, Alicia Bramble, and Ahmed Ziad Turk for being awesome legendary patrons.